Hi everyone, it's Brian from McDuff's, and today I have a multi-part video for you. I'm going to show you part one today, and I'm going to kind of tell you the story a little bit of what happened with this locker because it's a little complicated, and so just kind of bear with me on this one a bit. If you've ever seen any of my videos about storage lockers in the past, you kind of know that you don't actually show up to them in person and bid on them like they do on that show Storage Wars. It's nothing like that at all. You actually bid online, you look at pictures, and you make your best guess as to whether you can use the contents inside of it and sell it for a profit. And I'm usually pretty good about you know, being a good judge of these. And because at first what I started doing is I got burned a few times. Well, this particular locker is about 35 feet deep. It's 10 or 15 feet across. I can't remember how wide it was, but it's certainly large enough for you to drive a car into. It's kind of designed for that because it has a ramp. And the story behind this locker is that there was a man, a gentleman, that did the same thing that I did. He would buy and sell storage lockers. But here's where he kind of blew it a little bit. What he would do is he would buy a locker from this company that we use called Locker Fox. And when you buy a locker, there's a deposit that you have to put down so that when you're done getting everything out of there, they just give you the deposit back. It's usually $100. Some of the companies started charging $200, and this is why. Because once you clear the thing out and you get your money back, everything is good, and then you get to keep the contents, and usually have 2 days to clear it out. But in this case, what this gentleman was doing is he would buy the locker, take out some of the things that he wanted to keep and go through later on, and he put them in the locker that I ended up buying. Anyway, he would buy the contents of that and then just leave everything else in there and let them keep the $100 deposit because he probably only paid a small amount, maybe $20, $30, $40, something like that, for the locker that he was interested in. And he would just leave it there. And then the manager or the staff at that place, they would have to clean it out, or they would try to resell it or do something to deal with it in some way. So apparently what he had done, he had done this 5 different times. And then he would take the things he wanted out of there and leave the rest. And I know this because I spoke with the manager at the facility that I use, where I bought the locker and where I keep my things. And so she was telling me that that was the problem with this. And I said, well, don't worry, I'm not going to stiff you on this because, well, first off, she knows me. And the locker that I bought was in the same facility where I keep my stuff. And so, you want to make sure that you keep good communications, a good relationship with those people. So when I heard this, I said, well, he's got a lot of stuff in there. I look at the pictures and there's a lot of things in there. It wasn't like floor to ceiling, but there were things that was probably at least knee high, hip high, all the way going to the back. And in fact, you'll see from the video that I had to kind of clear a path just to get to the rear squares so I could see what I had there. And when you're looking at it, you're probably going, Brian, what's wrong with you? Why would you buy this mess, And a couple things kind of clued me in at the beginning. And I'm sorry if I'm making this kind of a long story, but it's a lot of stuff went on here. But when I first looked at the pictures, I could see that there was some vintage, maybe antique books at the beginning. And when you see older books in there, and I couldn't read the titles, but I could just tell they were old just by looking at the binding and everything. And you kind of go, well, these people were readers. They probably maybe had better stuff in there than you might find. Like, I try to stay away from a lot of kids stuff because younger people, they don't have any money, and so they don't really have great stuff. So I tend to look for quality in there. And even though there's a lot of other things that I didn't want, I did see a lot of things that I did want. And I said, well, if that's how we're starting this at the beginning with all these older books, then perhaps there's some better things in the back. And they were probably older folks. I did a little research and I found that these people actually did pass away. But then what I did find out is that, remember I told you that this guy would buy multiple units and he would put them in the locker that I ended up buying. Well, it turned out that there was more than one estate in there. and I could discern at least three. There was probably more, but because there were personal records that were left behind and photos and stuff. And generally, as a rule, we're supposed to return photos and documents and things like that to the manager of the facility, and then they will try to find the people that it belonged to. But in this case, there was no way to find out who it was because there were just so many of them that were mixed in there. So I ended up just keeping everything, and I went through everything that's in there, and I'm going to try and share with you some of the cooler things that I found in the locker. So let's take a look at some of the footage here and see if you see anything that's really great. At the beginning, it's hard to see anything because, you know, it's just a mess, and it took a while to organize it. It took us 3 weeks with the help of a friend of mine and my son, and I'm very grateful that they helped me out with this because I couldn't really do a whole lot myself. You know, I'd let my friend keep some stuff, so you know it was, you know, he got something out of it too. He found some little storage drawers that he could use. So anyway, so I will show you the video of some of the things that were found in there when I first started. And like I said, you're probably going, Brian, what the heck's wrong with you? Why would you even bother with this mess? And when we get to the end of the second or third part of the video, you'll see why you always go through everything. All right, let's see what's inside. Ooh, that's a lot worse than I thought it was. You have to clear a path just to get just to get back to see what we have. This was I found out from good authority that this was owned by another guy who buys storage lockers. I guess he put his finds in here. So you'll see how it goes. That's too bad that guy hand's broken off there. All right, so let's kind of take a look. I can't even walk through. Honestly, the pictures did not look that bad. Here's a dolly. Someone's interested in buying the dolly. And the shelves over there. Ooh, I made it to the back. There's a lot of, well, fortunately they bagged up the trash for me. That's kind of convenient. And then this is, oh, these are like personal things too. I'm supposed to leave those behind. A couple of speakers. And who knows what else could be back here. I'm going to try and gently step over this. Oh boy. Next, maybe a filing cabinet. There's a some folding chairs. Got some vintage folding chairs. Let's just take a look. Trash. Lots of bins though. Let's just take a trash. So, well, I guess I got my $30 worth throughout all this, so yeah, a lot of trash in there, but we'll sift through it all. Oh, in preparation H. What do we got here? Oh, there's probably 78 out records in here. Romeo and Juliet. Yeah, they're there. Wow, I wonder if it's the entire thing. Wow, well, that's kind of cool. Romeo and Juliet. We kind of be careful of those old records. They are somewhat brittle. They're not made out of the same kind of vinyl or materials that they make them out of later on, like in the 50s. So you can actually they'll just break if you hit them too hard. Oh, hello, my friend. Yeah, here's a lot of, probably that prepackaged garbage for me. A bottle of Coke. Well, magazines aren't necessarily a bad thing. It just depends on if they're old ones, and they probably, well, some of them might. Yeah, maybe. Not really old ones. Baseball. Pencils. All right. Well, that's exciting. Well, we'll see what happens. I'll keep digging through here, and then we'll get this thing all organized and ready to go. Okay, everybody. Here's where we are now. This is day 3. I didn't bore you with day 2. It's just a bunch of sorting out of stuff. But this is where we stand right now. This side here, pretty much anything that's in a black bag is garbage. So that's going to be going out. But over here we have lots of books and personal documents, which we're going to be shredding. The manager here agreed to shred the documents. And so I'm still going to go through them, make sure there's no goodies in any of those. And then I put most of the empty bins towards the back of the locker. And then on this side, there's kind of a mixture of trash and things that I'm keeping. And I just simply ran out of room to make 2 separate piles. So I kind of combined it, but I know everything that's in a bag is trash. And when I've labeled this one over here, this is Box Mountain. And Box Mountain has already had a couple of avalanches too. So I've tried to pick that up the best I can. And luckily there's a couple tools in here that I can really use. There's a rake back here. And then there's also somewhere in here is a snow shovel. So those things will really come in handy when it comes time to clean up the floor in here too. I rented this locker for a month, so I've got a month to get everything out. So as we go through it, maybe I'll post some more updates if there's something that I kind of overlooked. But I didn't go through everything in super big detail. I just kind of looked at it, said, I'll keep that and I'll trash that. And I went from there. So we will see how the whole thing ends up when we finish sorting through them today. But today will be a combination of taking out garbage and putting things away in my locker, which luckily is just right across the way from this one in that door over there by the gray box. So I'll get back with you when there's something cooler to see than this. Okay, so here's what it's all about, everybody. This is going to be trash, and there's Mount Trashmore right here. And then on this side, we've got things I'm keeping. Maybe even that rake. I could use a rake. There's a couple of vintage speakers. These are items that are getting donated to the Step Store. It's a resale shop. And then we're keeping this. There's a keyboard in there. And there's some miscellaneous stuff. These are beach folding chairs. They're not the tall ones. We use those on the beach, the short ones. And then some like miscellaneous ephemera. Here's posters here. I'm not even sure what's on the posters. I have to get them home. Here's a baby stroller. It's a Graco. I'm gonna trip and fall and hurt myself soon. And then there's like a little like a little parts bin or paper bin. It's big enough for sheets of paper. Small vacuum. Have a laser kind of a game, and a retractable safety gate, probably to keep babies from the trespass. So anyway, that's where we kind of ended up, everyone. We have donate, we have trash, and then we have things that are keeping. And there's more things that I kept. I just don't, they're all in boxes right now, but there was a lot of books and things. And then here's today's helper, my son. And yesterday I had my friend Doug help me out. And I think we're making some pretty good progress. So hopefully have this thing cleared out pretty soon. I have until the end of March pretty much to clear it out. So that'll give me enough time. Well, at this point, we had gathered all the trash kind of towards the back. We kept moving it around from place to place because we just didn't have enough room to walk around in here. And then we managed to get the trash down to a usable level where we could get back and forth and start moving things out of there, still in the back of the locker. And then we took all the plastic bins out, and I just put it as a free pickup for somebody on Facebook Marketplace, and someone did come and pick them up pretty quick. Okay, here's where we stand now. This is all items we donated to the local step store, which is a charitable organization. They have a thrift store, and they support people with developmental disabilities, mental disabilities. Very good organization. And here's what we have going on here so far. Okay, so here's how I have everything divided up now. This side, this is stuff I'm keeping for selling. And some of them I haven't gone through it thoroughly. Everything, it's a nice big Christmas tree stand down there. I mean, that's like the most heavy-duty Christmas tree stand I've ever seen. And some miscellaneous stuff. A couple of cool vintage speakers here. I'm going to take this home, see if they work. And this is the order of today, is dealing with this pile of garbage. We have some bins. I'm going to try and give those away to people, see if they want them. Some will have lids, some don't, but if they can use them, then I'll keep them out of landfills and that kind of thing. And then over here is mostly boxes. The bags of garbage I can take home. The boxes, I'm going to try and recycle those at home as well. And then over here, I'm not exactly sure what to do. Usually, we're instructed to leave personal items behind, like photos and bank records, whatever they might have. And that's what, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes of these kinds of items here. So I'm not exactly sure what to do with them. So I'll find out. We're going to see if we can get the manager offered to shred them for me. But I said, I don't think you know what you're getting into here. There's a lot to shred. There's some scrapbooks down there too with stuff in them, you know, from those people's past. So it's kind of sad that it ended up in here, but that's where it is. And we have no way of identifying, you know, who they might belong to and if they're even with us anymore. I looked at some of the pictures in there, and they're pretty old pictures. So my guess is that they're no longer with us, but that's still possible. Anyway, that's the order of today. I'm going to be mostly dealing with Mount Trashmore back there. So what do you think, everybody? I know I have a lot of people that will tell me that I should try and find the owner of the photos and the other personal items that are found in this locker. In fact, I did try to reach out to someone who is related to them. I only was able to do it by looking through some of the scrapbooks. I tried to figure out who these people are. I sent emails out, have not heard anything back. It's been about a week so far. And it's possible that they are maybe no longer around either. I mean, I don't really know what happened here. So I did my best to try and find the owners, but I do have a plan for the photos and for some of the other items in there as well. So I'm hoping that you'll leave a comment and possibly subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers so that I can start getting paid for doing this kind of thing. I do enjoy doing it, and hopefully it helps you out. If you've ever thought about getting into this line of work, hopefully this will kind of give you an idea of what you are in for. I wouldn't discourage you from doing it, but it's always good to know what kinds of things are in store for you if you decide to go into this kind of work. Because on TV, they do make it look kind of, you know, glamorous and everything in there. So, oh, I found this Ming Dynasty vase, or I found all this gold and all that. No, that's all a bunch of baloney. That stuff's never in there. But I did find one particular thing that's in here, and I'll share that with you in the next video. That could very well pay for this and a lot more. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. And please leave me a comment on the bottom. I'd love to hear from you.